Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Ingram One Experience, the APAC version. My name is Francis Shu. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have heard about me or know me. Recently, a lot of us have asked me, Francis, is there a change in your portfolio? The answer is yes. I'm actually continuing to run the ASEAN and Hong Kong region. But at the same time, because since I'm based in Singapore and most of our big vendors are also based in Singapore, the company has decided that I should take a new role, which is basically the global partner engagement for APAC role. And what does that really is? That basically is looking at how we can move our partner engagement organization to one from a transactional relationship on a binary 1-on-2 type to one that help the ecosystem of building a multi-vendor environment that will work very well for our customers as the market evolves. So that will entail us to be able to build the necessary solutioning and harnessing the strength of each individual technology owners toward one that can deliver an end-to-end towards the needs of a customer. As all of you know, our end user requirements are getting more and more bespoke. There's definitely a requirement for us to be able to stitch technology together. And with that, we have actually hired a couple of very strong solution architects, one in the world of multi-cloud, one in the world of open source, one in the world in cybersecurity, and down the road, one in IoT, in which we are able to pull the best capabilities of our vendor and tailor towards your needs of your requirements to your end user. And that also requires us to have the ability to also work from on-prem to the cloud. And that's our ability to work towards our cloud organization, towards a one-stop shop for you. And this is actually down the road whereby we have also decided that cyber needs a separate and very focused drive as it's very fragmented. So what Ingram has done is that we have invested very heavily on a cybersecurity COE, which I will touch on later in my other charts. If you look at COVID-19, and all of us has read enough data about COVID-19, we all recognize that in the beginning of COVID-19, there was a major concern on do we invest? Basically, we need to survive. But companies are starting to realize with COVID-19 here for a period of time, is an area in which for survival, a company has to invest in technology. And that investment has moved beyond just survival, day-to-day operation to one that is digital transformation. They have to transform in order to meet the new economy and the new market opportunities. And that's the reason why you see 97% of the investment comes from digital. And that is an area whereby Ingram believes we can partner with all of you to go to market in the different areas of the needs of a digital transformation. If you look at IDC charts today, you will see that there were three key areas of movement towards investment in the IT arena. One is in the area of resiliency, one is in the area of operational resiliency, and a third in the financial resiliency. While we have an economic slowdown and moving toward a trough of a recession that we are all facing together, we believe return to growth will come. And that return to growth is where we believe we will all have to focus on to bring technology to the next leap and bound. And that's where Ingram believes it can partner with all of you to go to that area. If you were to look at the three drivers of technology consumption, and this does not come from me, this came from IDC. The biggest growth consumption area will be in how do you optimize costs. And optimizing costs is an area whereby it's very necessary today in the area of slow growth, slow sales, in the area of slower consumption. And that OPEX survival is necessary, and IT plays a very key part in helping company automate, helping company customize, helping company look at in the area in which it can optimize storage and many other areas. While we all work from home, data becomes exposed, becomes very vulnerable, security becomes a risk. Organizations also have to readjust in the way we work, the way we operate, and the timing in which we operate. And as such, organizations will have to look at the resiliency of how they operate today, from work from home, work from anywhere, and work from different locations with a business continuity plan that is extremely necessary in our going forward. Then, organization now have to touch their customers, their end users, their segmented customers, their addressable and targeted organization. An offline business model becomes extremely necessary, and that's where digitization plays a very key role on which companies can move from a normal scenario to a new scenario. Same thing as the way supply chains are tracked, the way supply chains are looked at, and the way supply chains have to move from an end to end. Now let me switch gear into the economy of Southeast Asia and Hong Kong. Okay, you will see that despite COVID-19, the ASEAN countries plus Hong Kong will see a slowdown in their economy. But with the ASEAN and Hong Kong countries being very resilient in the way they control COVID, they will be the first off the block, like China, into a growth economy. And we believe that the GDP growth will pick up very quickly once COVID-19 becomes better controlled, and where growth will come back when business goes back to as usual, but not as usual. If you look at the demographics in Southeast Asia and even in Hong Kong, including the Greater Bay Area, of which Hong Kong is the nucleus of the center, you will see that the majority of the population in Southeast Asia and Hong Kong are a very young population. And that population are what you call the millennials, the IT spenders, the IT users. And that's the area whereby IT can transform this whole generation of demographics that will move more and more towards online, towards a cloud scenario. If you look at living standards, ASEAN and Hong Kong is no more what you call poor. You can call some developing, but majority of them are developed. So in terms of disposable income, in terms of digitization to support the new economy, i.e. 4.0, you see all these economies with big population driving the growth. And this is testified by the next chart that I'm showing, is where the whole ASEAN economy will overtake the India economy by 2023. Okay, and if you look at the way the trajectory is growing, if you include Hong Kong, you will probably reach Germany by 2023. So you are seeing not a small block of countries or economy, you're seeing a substantially big economy that is probably about the fourth biggest in the world. And that, with its demographics, shows tremendous amount of opportunity for you and for Ingram to drive towards a greater growth in the new world. If you look at where Ingram is trying to focus, it's not very complex. This is the same that we have shown last year. It's basically the four transformation that Ingram looks at. Basically, in terms of how do you transform the IT transformation, where the world moved from a on-prem to the journey of the cloud. The hybridization, the cloud security that wraps around it, the data movement of data up and down from cloud to on-prem. With that, there's also a necessity to encompass and embrace, and at the same time to secure anything and everywhere. And that comes with the amount of utilization into the world that is moving digital and the world that is pushing towards application. IoT sensors, smarter cities, everything that we do and we operate will all be surrounded by the world moving to a digitized world. And with that, the smart economy will also demand smart workers. Smart workers are people with, and Asia would have, and ASEAN will have very big pool of smart workers by virtue of fact they are young, they are mobile, they are IT savvy. So the workforce transformation will require us and create tremendous amount of opportunity from a work any place, work anywhere, especially with the growth of 5G. You will see the workforce transforming aggressively, and that's where we believe this four transformation will drive us, you, our partners, and Ingram to a greater height. So what is Ingram going to do with you as we move during this period of time? We look at how are the areas of which we can add value to the entire solution aggregation with you, with our vendors, and the partners. So what is very important as you move to a solution aggregation, there is definitely a requirement to build technical ability, technical enablement, services that can go through two-tier, like through a partner whereby Ingram has the economies of scale to work together. Customers now no longer require a storage, a server. They require a solution. So what does Ingram does? We really co-create together with our vendors to come up with the necessary heterogeneous co-created solution for you to bring to market. At the same form, the world of EDMs, the world of price book will all have to transform or are already transforming. And that's where you use digital marketing. And digital marketing can drive through the world of EDIs, the world of social medias, the world of B2B2C connectivity. And this whole digital marketing is broad, and we call it OMI marketing, and I'll cover that later. And obviously, financial services are important as the world moves towards a SaaS model, and towards one whereby customers are looking at milestones and looking at areas in which financial can get into a movement from a CAPEX to an OPEX model. And obviously, the world of cloud has escalated, transformed the way we do business. But how are you going to aggregate and operate in an environment where there's multi-cloud and multi-environment? And that's where Ingram can play a part to tie them all together. There's the same thing as that there are new technologies, leading technologies, be it in security especially. There is definitely a requirement for it to be incubated, for it to be able to be compatible towards both the vendors and towards your environment. And that's where Ingram is building an incubation hub for cyber. And at the same time, from a center of excellence, the key focus where we are building in this region is one to do with the world of open source and the world of cyber. So let me talk a little bit about the APAC Center of Excellence for Cyber. This is an area whereby we invest in domain knowledge of key people who are in the cyber arena. And this is an area whereby we work with the right cyber partners, the right on-prem partners, the right cloud partners to create an end-to-end stitch towards the requirement of how a vendor can work with another vendor towards a use case of what a customer wants from a cyber utilization. At the same time, the requirement for security architects to ensure the robustness, to ensure the compliance, and to ensure the audit of cyber becomes extremely important. And this requires both pre-sales incubation and consulting capabilities. And that's an area that we are building on from our ability from Singapore towards the whole APAC region. If you look at marketing, it is transforming with the offline to online way in which we do business. The world is all now moving towards how do you bring your message across in a manner in which a customer will accept, absorb, and understand in the shortest manner of time. So what Ingram has done is aggressively move more and more towards the digital marketing. At the same time, the speed to market is also extremely important. How we create that speed of market is the world in which we collaborate and go digital with you, and you with your customer. And if you look at what we are trying to do, we are also trying to create a whole arsenal of co-created use case of which you can relabel, you can modify, you can localize. And this saves you a lot of time in terms of trying to set it up, trying to draw it together, whereas this has already been created. And the reason why Ingram can does it because we have the economies of scale and we have the right solution architects all in the region to create this use case. And these are all available to you, our partners. And finally, together, we believe you can build an extremely strong future with Ingram. And Ingram, although we are global, we are very local, and we want to work with you for the foreseeable and the great future with Ingram. Thank you very much. Thank you.